The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets is a collection of photo tutorials for beginners that will take you all the way from the basics to the more advanced stuff. It is now available for purchase worldwide anywhere you typically buy books, and there is also a direct link in the description. Hello, my name is Masha, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this beautiful friendship bracelet. I really love this design. It's kind of a back to basics one for me. I've been making more complicated bracelets recently, but I really enjoy the look of these ones. They feel very nostalgic to me, as when I was starting out I made a bunch of these and I really do enjoy them. I think this is a really cute bracelet to make. There's only 3 colors in this one, so you can make this with so many different color combinations and they're all gonna turn out unique. This is a perfect bracelet to do for like a collection. This isn't a difficult tutorial, but I wouldn't recommend it for people just starting out. Going into this tutorial, I expect that you know how to make the basic knots, so I'll just be naming the knots rather than showing you how to make them. And while it's not particularly difficult, there's a lot of steps that might be challenging for someone who hasn't got a lot of experience with bracelets yet. So if you're just starting out, check out my tutorials on the basic knots, and I have an entire playlist filled with beginner-friendly tutorials which I'll leave in the description. But if you think you're up for the challenge, let's get into the tutorial. For this bracelet, you will need 3 colors. Cut 4 strings for each of the colors, each about 1 meter in length. These are the colors that I'm going with. So I've now cut my strings and I've attached them to my workspace. I've left 10 to 15 centimeters just above and out of frame to make ties out of later. And I've started my bracelet with a triangle end. You don't have to start your bracelet with a triangle end, though I do recommend it for this pattern. It works quite well with it and it looks really cool. You just have to have your strings in the same order as me when you start following the tutorial. Also, the string order is all you need to know for how to make a triangle end. And I have a separate tutorial for that, which will be linked in the card and in the description. But the string order is very simple. It's the order in which you want the colors to appear in your bracelet. So I want the pink string to be the first one, then the yellow string, and then the white string. So that's how I've arranged my strings on the left side. Pink, yellow, white, pink, yellow, white. And same thing on the right side. Pink, yellow, white, pink, yellow, white. With that out of the way, let's get into the tutorial. This bracelet is actually quite simple. It has a lot of the chevron elements, and the first 2 rows are just reverse chevrons. So in order to do a reverse chevron, we take the 2 strings in the center, the 2 pink strings for me, we do a knot between them, and then 1 string goes all the way to the right in forward knots, 1 on each of the strings following it, and the other goes all the way to the left in backward knots, 1 on each of the strings following it. So let's make a knot between these 2 strings first. It's also going to be the knot connecting my 2 triangle ends. With that first knot that connects the 2 halves, you have to be a little bit careful just to make sure you get it quite right. It's also just a little tricky. But once that knot is done, this string is going to go to the right in forward knots, this string is going to go to the left in backward knots. The reverse chevron is complete, and that marks row 1. Row 2 is the exact same thing with a different color. The 2 strings in the middle are now yellow, so the next row is going to be yellow. We do the same thing, a knot between them, and then all the way to the right in forward knots, all the way to the left in backward knots. For the next row, we're actually going to take the 2 strings that we just used and we're going to put them off to the side. We're just going to be focusing on these strings for now. The next row is very similar. We are also doing a reverse chevron. There is one key difference. We don't go all the way to the sides, to the edge on both sides. Again, the 2 strings in the middle, this time these are white strings. They're going to do a knot between them, any knot. If it's 2 strings of the same color, it doesn't matter which knot you do. And then one is going to go to the right in forward knots, one is going to go to the left in backward knots, except we're not going all the way to the edge, we're actually going until this pink string here and this pink string here. So the second to last strings, that's where we're going to be stopping our reverse chevron. But that's not the only difference. Instead of doing all forward knots on the right side and all backward knots on the left side, once we get to this last string, we're actually going to be doing reverse knots. So on the right side, when you get to this string, do a forward backward knot, and on the left side, once you get to the string, do a backward forward knot. So a knot between the 2 strings, forward knots on the right side until this string, onto which you do a forward backward knot, backward knots on the left side up until this string, onto which you do a backward forward knot. So we're kind of starting that big diamond shape. Let's get to it. Now that that's done, we're going to take the 2 edge strings here, the ones that we did the forward backward knots onto and with, and we're going to put them off to the side as well. We're just going to be sticking with the strings in the center here, and there should be only 6 of them. We're going to be doing the exact same thing we just did. We're doing a reverse chevron shape with reverse knots on the last string here. So we're essentially doing the first half of the diamond. This is what the diamond shape looks like. You start by kind of doing the reverse chevron shape, then you reverse the knots for the last string, and then you bring it back together. That's what creates that diamond shape. So that's what we're doing here. That's the purpose of this. There's only 6 strings here, so this basically looks like making a knot between the 2 strings in the center. I'm doing a forward knot, but it doesn't really matter since it's the same color. Then the string on the right does a forward knot, then a forward backward knot. The string on the left does a backward knot, then a backward forward knot. There's not too many strings left, so it's just that. Let's do it. And then to finish off this section of the pattern, we just do a knot between the 2 strings in the middle. Yellow for me. We're finished with this section of the pattern. We essentially just opened a bunch of diamonds. Now we're going to be closing a bunch of diamonds. And it's kind of, imagine an onion, right? We were opening them with the biggest first and then slowly going towards the center. We're going to be closing them with the smallest first, going from the center out. So that's kind of how I imagine it. And what that means is we're just going to be working with 4 strings in the middle for the first part of this. And we're just going to be closing that first. You might notice as well that because you did reverse knots, and because reverse knots aren't that stable, they might sort of have become a little bit loose and untied slightly. So what I like to do is I like to tighten those knots before I go back and I close that diamond. So on the left and on the right, I'm just tightening those knots slightly so they're more secure. And then with that color that we were using, which is pink for me, we're just going to do a chevron to close. So the pink string on the left is going to do a forward knot, the pink string on the right is going to do a backward knot, and then 2 pink strings are going to meet in the center and do a knot between them. A simple chevron shape consisting of 3 knots in total. So closing that diamond with the pink strings in a chevron shape. That pink diamond is now closed. We're going to close the next diamond, which is the white one. So we're going to grab those strings, the white strings that we did the reverse knots with, these 2 for me. I'm going to tighten those knots once again, like I explained in the previous step. And then I'm just going to do chevron shape again. The string on the left goes onto all of these strings and forward knots. The string on the right goes onto all of these strings and backward knots. They meet in the center and do a knot between them. Very simple chevron shape. And now finally we close the last diamond, which is the yellow diamond here. You might think that's not the last diamond because we have a pink string here as well, but that's actually not part of the diamond. That's a big cross that we're going to be doing, and that was just kind of the bottom half of the cross. It's just because we started the pattern, you can't see that it is a cross, but it is a cross. This is the last diamond in yellow, and we're just going to be doing a chevron shape again. So let's do a chevron with the 2 yellow strings. We have finished our diamonds. We are now going to do another chevron shape to start the next cross with the pink string. So 1 more chevron. Alright, that part is now finished. We're moving on to the dividers. It's the same thing on the left and on the right side. They're symmetrical. I'm going to explain it on the left side, and then I'm going to go quite quickly on the right side. We're essentially doing kind of half diamonds, so it's a similar shape to what we've been doing. This pink string we just did a chevron with can be put off to the side. We're not going to be using it. For the rest of the strings, we take the outermost string on the left, and we essentially do that kind of beginning diamond shape. So we do 3 forward knots and 1 forward backward knot onto this string. So we're moving our string to the right and then reversing it on that last string. Then we're doing the same thing with the yellow string, but in this case it's a little bit more simple. A forward knot, a forward backward knot, and then straight away a backward knot with the same yellow string. So forward knot onto the pink string, forward backward knot onto the white string, and then straight away a backward knot onto the pink string again. And then with that white string that we were using before, and then with that white string that we were using previously, we're just going to be doing 3 backward knots, closing off that half diamond again. And then we do the same thing on the right side, except in reverse knots. And again, this pink string we were using for the chevron in the middle, we're putting it off to the side. So for that outermost white string, we do 3 backward knots and a backward forward knot. The yellow string does a backward knot on the pink string, a backward forward knot on the white string, and then a forward knot on the pink string straight away. And then that white string that we just opened the diamond with, we're going to close the diamond with. We're doing 3 forward knots. And that's it. That's the entirety of the repeating pattern. There's timestamps in the description so you can rewind to the beginning of this tutorial and follow it again. All of the strings are in the same positions, the colors haven't even changed, so everything is the exact same. The only thing that's different is we started off the tutorial by making a knot between the 2 strings in the middle. You don't have to do that when you repeat it, since we already made a knot between the 2 strings in the middle when we were doing the chevron. So don't do the knot between the 2 strings in the middle, just go straight into that reverse chevron shape. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. You can also finish this bracelet in a triangle end. To do that, I would finish the bracelet before making these 2 half diamonds. So I would finish it at this point when we made that last chevron shape, just so it's in that shape of a triangle end. Makes it super easy. I'm gonna go finish this bracelet off camera and I'll see you once I'm done. And this is what my bracelet ended up looking like. I made triangle ends at both ends, and I also finished it with twisted ties. I have a tutorial on twisted ties as well. It's actually very easy to do. I'll leave that linked in the description. There are timestamps on this video for you to skip around and rewind to any part of the tutorial that you need to. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And overall, I hope you just liked this tutorial. There's a whole playlist with a bunch more that I already have up, and I've been filming loads as well. So stay tuned for more. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons and especially my top supporters. It is with their support that I'm able to create the videos that I do on this channel. If you also want to support my work here, the link to my Patreon is in the description. My book, The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, is also now out worldwide. You can purchase it wherever you typically buy books, but there's also a direct link in the description if you want to use that. But in any case, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. As I said, there's lots more coming, so I'll see you in my next one. Bye!